ladies and gents. It is Lunch Learning Live, February 5th, 2020. I think this is the 951st Lunch and Learn. I just kind of made up that number. We've been doing this for quite some time. I really hope it's valuable to you and your journey and all that fun stuff. As always, I have to right-click mute and then click to expand pause. There's no other way for me to do it. So the first 30 seconds are always me just kind of filling in radio space and clicking too much. But hopefully before the end of today's Lunch and Learn, you'll understand the natural evolution that comes with your agency and your products and services moving from the done for you to do it with you to a digital product. That's just natural, makes complete and total sense. We're seeing people that have started their Facebook ad agency journey 1 or 2 years ago move forward. Some people are over here, some people started over here. But I think it's important to kind of understand the context and how most people's products move from done for you to do it with you to a book or digital product or something like that. So we'll be going over that today, number one. Number two, we'll be going over the hypothesis in my head that webinars will be beaten out by books in 2020. That webinars will be beaten out by books in 2020. And I'm part of a coaching program that has like really, I guess you could say like proven really, really fast. And hopefully today we're going to be going over some of the reasons why, that general theory, and how we'll be testing and why I think that webinars are not dead, but it'll become more and more structurally challenging to have a successful webinar versus the ease of having a very successful paid book. And that natural value ladder or ascension model ties into it very, very well. And I also think that strategy applies not just to agencies that sell to agencies, but also agencies that sell to end consumers. So plumbers or chiropractors or construction equipment or events or anything like that. I don't care what you're selling to, and I don't even care what you're selling, whether it's Facebook ads or automatic follow-up like high level or website. I genuinely believe that the webinar model will be beaten out by a book model in 2020. And then lastly, we're going to go into Q&A. And I'm not really sure who's watching because the stupid Facebook thing isn't working as intended, and I don't know why. So now I have to like try it again, and then we're going to see what's up because I usually like saying hi to everybody. And by the way, I do want to say it was really, really awesome to see everybody at ClickFunnels and Funnel Hacking Live and all that fun stuff. So let me go ahead and see if Facebook went ahead and changed it or something like that. It did. So I have no idea who's watching. So hello, internet. Feels like a bad Twitch show, but let's go ahead and get this sucker up and running. Let me share my screen. Nope. Let me go ahead and drag that over, share the application window. And here we go. Cool. Lunch Learning Live, February 5th. Oh, now Facebook decides to, whatever. I don't understand how the internet works sometimes. I do this every single day and still I haven't a clue as to why the chat boxes don't work as intended. Whatever, it's okay. So on today's Lunch and Learn, we're going to be going over the natural evolution of your agency when it comes to your products and services, the line of thinking about books beating webinars in 2020, and the general Q&A. I do want to say before we get started, special high fives and hand hugs to everyone that Facebook decided to show on the top right of my screen. We got Brett Factor X. Brett is my number 2 when it comes to the IC. If you have any questions about the IC, all that fun stuff, that's my inner circle. Go ahead and message him. I do want to say special high five and hand hug to Zach, who just joined the IC and landed his first paying client at $2,000 in less than 1 week. Zach, let me know if that's true or not. I genuinely think it is because like that's what you went live about. A 2K or in less than 2 weeks. And maybe it was arguably in less than 1 week because the first week is like you're trying to figure it out. But you got your prospecting engine up and running. You got 5 to 10 yeses a day. I think you've been on this journey for about a year now, and you got more progress in 2 weeks in the IC than not a year, but let's just say a year with other programs and stuff like that. Either way, though, I'm super happy for you. We've got Daniel Soto. Daniel, how you doing, sir? We have Jessica Cortez, how are you? And Zaka says, what's up? So Zaka, yeah, just kind of like leave a couple sentences in the chat about how you landed your client, how fast it took, the challenge, all that fun stuff. I think it's super important to document this type of stuff. And you've been doing your part when it comes to going live in the ICA and sharing your wins, losses, and big learning moments, all that stuff. So there we go. Either way, let's get this party started. Today, we're going to be going over the natural evolution your agency should take when it comes to your products and services, the natural evolution you should take when it comes to your products and your services. So here's the mistake that everybody makes. And I'll tell you what, I'm kind of making these charts on the fly. So forgive me how ugly they look, right? So this is how good you are over here. Let's do this. How good you are. And let's just rotate this sucker and move it this way. Here we go. So this is how good you are. And this is, let's say this is how long it took you to do it. How long it, or let's just say how long you've been doing it. How good you are, and then how long you've been doing it. And there is, of course, a natural up and down that comes with doing stuff more often and getting better at it. Sam Evans calls it consistency, reliability, and predictably. Like as you get better, you just genuinely are something like it ends up looking like this. This is how. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Oh, come on. Okay, let's try this again. Curve. So this is this is usually like how your learning ends up going. You have your ups and your downs and stuff like that. It's never like an actual line going from the bottom left to the top right. It's this weird learning process. And you notice that there's like certain bumps and certain ups and certain downs. And for the most part, I'm going to categorize this as like your freshman year right here. And then this can be, let's just say, your senior year. Oops. This can be your sophomore year right here. This can be your junior year right here. And this can be your senior year right here. And most people are really comfortable understanding freshman, sophomore, junior, and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm trying to make sure that you know that stuff just takes time. This is how most learning happens. This is how most people talk about their learnings. Just like this. This, so that, so that, so that, so that, which is entirely untrue. Like learning and growth and getting good over time looks more like this. And this is like a chasm of death right here. And it doesn't look like this at all. This is how our brains lie to us and stuff like that. But here's the mistake that most people make. Most people start, let's do this. Let's say this is you. You have not been doing it for a long time, and you're not good at it. Normal. You will compare yourself to Gary Vee, who is really, really good and been doing it for a very long time. That makes sense in your brain. You want to be where Gary Vee is. You want to be where Grant Cardone is, where Russell Brunson is, the top players, the experts, the best people in the business. It makes sense. You want to be where they are. The problem is that you think learning looks like this. It's a natural next step. It is entirely non-correct. It is entirely not true at all. This is not how learning is. Learning is like this. And so what happens is instead of taking its chart and taking it here, or sorry, instead of taking, come on. What happens is most people look at this and say, my learning is a straight line. It makes complete and total sense. What you really need to be doing is looking like this. You need to be saying and knowing and understanding that your learning will have ups and downs and lefts and rights. And more importantly, you should not be comparing where you are to where somebody is 10, 20, or 30 years down the line. Not good for you. Ain't going to happen. Instead, you really should be comparing where you are to where Gary Vee was at your time frame. Maybe he was up here. Maybe he was down here. Maybe he was exactly where you started. Maybe he was down here. Maybe you've got a head start. Maybe you can beat him. Instead of looking at where Gary Vee is now, look at where Gary Vee was back then, back at his freshman year, back when he was just starting. It'll be more fair for you and your brain and your heart, and you'll make more progress, not by viewing A, progress as a linear line, which is incorrect, and B, not by comparing where you are to where Gary Vee is now. You really should be comparing your success to something like Let's see if we can do this as I think we can. Here we go. You really should be comparing you to where Gary Vee was 10 or 20 or 30 years ago. People look at me all the time. I've been doing this for like 3 years. I'm in my junior year, and they are comparing me and the group and the upcoming AskCon and the presentations and the clients, and they're freaking out because they are literally comparing themselves to me in my junior year up here. When what they should really be doing is comparing myself or themselves to where I was. I think it was January 1st, 2017. You can go back in my personal profile and look. And so the reason why I bring this up is because it's massively important to your progress and your mental health and your fairness to you to compare you to where your goal was when you got started or when they got started. And so we're going to break this down into what I call freshman, sophomore, and junior years. And this will be, I think, super duper important for you. So let's put Gary Vee back here. Gary Vee. By the way, this line makes no sense. I just kind of drew it. It feels like a thing from The Good Place where they put the signature in there like this is how time works. Either way. So what we're going to do is we're going to chop this up and we're going to put this into freshman year. Let's remove this and make it opaque, transparent, cool. And let's call this freshman year. Cool. And then let's copy and paste this and make it come up like normal. And let's call this sophomore year. Let's do this and let's make it junior year. And let's make this over here senior year. And this is going to make a lot of sense really darn fast. Just kind of stick with me. Senior year. Let's make this a little bit more bold. There we go. So you've got now segments and chunks. You've got your freshman, your sophomore, your junior, and your senior year. You should not be comparing freshman to senior. Instead, you should be comparing freshman to freshman, sophomore to sophomore, junior, junior, senior, senior. And this is a lot of big reasons why people are having like this uncomfortable anxiety and tightness of the chest, because they are literally only looking at seniors. They are literally only looking at Gary Vee and Grant Cardone and Russell Brunson saying, oh my God, they've got $100 million company and I can't even get a client. I'm the worst thing in the world. When you should not be looking at that. Instead, you should be looking at like where they were in their freshman year. By the way, everybody starts at zero. Everybody starts at zero. So today we're going to talk about, and I honestly don't know why Google Slides always does the opposite of what I want. Like I want to grab this, but it's not doing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the natural evolution of your products and services from your freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. And hopefully what happens is it provides enough context for you and your line of thinking so that you can make intense progress and have an honest, dollar-driven relationship, have something to sell. You can get clients, get them results, and keep them for the long term. And more importantly, we're going to be talking about the natural transition of a done for you to a digital product or a book type thing, which kind of ties into my next thing. So let me go ahead and see if I can remove that. Here we go. Cool. So let me go ahead and remove this and remove that and remove this. Here we go. So freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. Most people are really in their, let's just say, freshman year. Normal, makes sense. Everybody starts at zero. When you are in your freshman year, you are doing stuff for people on their behalf. Agency work. I am listing your home for you. I am doing bariatric surgery for you. I am building the car for you. I'm installing chatbots. I'm doing emails. I'm doing stuff for you. These tend to be tool-focused tasks. And the problem is that they tend to be pretty low value in terms of dollars. That's just how it works. Nobody's running around town saying, I really want to pay a freshman an F ton of money. Sorry, right? I wish it was better. There are some people that stick to the done for you and get really, really good. Imagine those are their freshmen. They're getting all A's and they're taking AP classes and they've got, I don't know, when they're taking dual credit for college. Like there's some people like that. For the vast majority of people, they're like, and freshman year, you are doing tool focused work, bots, landing pages, ads, stuff like that. Again, some people get paid a lot for this, but for the most part, it's low value work. It makes complete and total sense. There are done for you programs and products and services everywhere. There are ClickFunnels done for you. There's High Level done for you. There's Facebook ads done for you. There's MailChimp done for you. There's email done for you. There's ActiveCampaign done for you. Normal. Every single person starts with done for you. And then what happens over the course of time, they find a pattern. They find the system. They figure out what works. And then they only do what works. Just like I originally started trying to sell Facebook ads, nobody wanted to buy it. If they did, it was like $200 a month. Go on Upwork, make an argument about why they should be paying me less. Great. So I dealt with it in the beginning, the first 90 days. Really was like, oh God, Facebook ads, ActiveCampaign, ClickFunnels, a lot of stuff. Like even in my pitch, I had the terms, which was so funny. By the way, if you're ever pitching a tool, do not put the brand name on your pitch. They will just buy it and use it and realize that it sucks and they will hate you. Do not do that. Like we're seeing a lot of people in the IC like white label High Level, and in their pitch will say we're going to white label a CRM called High Level. And then the clients don't pay $2,000 for their program and instead sign up for High Level and say, hey, we signed up and this program sucks and we don't want to pay you $2,000. So like, don't put the brand, just put like CRM or landing page or something like that. But either way, like what'll happen is after they do a lot of done for yous, they figure out a pattern, they figure out a system, they can figure out their client, they figure out what works, and then they only do what works. That's them exiting their freshman year. They figured it out. They're more confident. And more importantly, they found their client. And I'm putting clients in air quotes because really they found their dream client or the perfect client, the client that works for them. Jeffrey M. Bannock is a great example. He's like, look, I really only work with people that are spending $2,000 to $5,000 a week on ads. I can't service you if you aren't doing that. And because of it, he's found a really good opportunity working with people like Jose Pena and Kevin David. And he's won I think he's sold $23 million worth of stuff in 4 years and won his ClickFunnels award again, right? But he figured out his client. I've also figured out my client. And there's people here like Tyler, Deepak, Gary, I was going to say Kylo, but that's not his name. Jerome, Adam, Mark, Lawrence, that are either still trying to figure out their client or about to figure out their client. Normal. At this stage in your freshman year, you should be doing business with everybody, not trying to niche. Niching is junior and sophomore, maybe senior. Don't niche when you're a freshman. Just do business with everybody so that you can find your client, so that you can get the experience. So let's just say you've worked with 5, 10 clients and customers and a whole breadth and depth of conversations. If you're dating, be like you're looking for the tall guy or the short girl or the brunette or the blonde or the glasses or not. You're just trying to figure out what you like and what works. Same way with clients. I did carpet cleaners. I did car washes. I did bike shops. I did everybody that I could to figure out who I could work with. Normal. Makes sense. And then I exited my sophomore year. I went through a natural evolution. You can see it kind of sucked down here, but then we started making an improvement. And then instead of pitching a tool, I showed them a program. 6 steps, 5 to 7 steps. Something that consistently worked pretty predictably. Something I could get paid for. Around this time of sophomore year, you're moving away from the time and money thing, like you're getting paid per hour. And in the sophomore year, you're getting paid per program. Without regard to how much your program actually costs you, you are now charging for it, which is pretty cool, I think. So I charge $2,900 a month for my Wallet Out Ready by Button the Seed customer campaign. Cool. Turns out between me and the VAs, it takes us 4 or 5 hours to set it up. Cool. So I'm moving away from the time for money thing. It's still kind of there. And it's like $500-600 an hour. But now I'm no longer talking about the tool, by the way. I'm talking about the Wallet Out campaign. We're talking about customer research. We're talking about an ad that you don't lose money on. No discounts allowed. Landing page, thank you page that generates phone calls, notifications so you know their marketing is working, and soap opera sequence so you're famous. Cool, right? I didn't once mention ClickFunnels or High Level or Active Campaign or ClickSend or none of that. I didn't mention any tool. It's a program. And what's really, really cool around your sophomore year, you get good at pitching. Just like this. You get paid for a program and you get good at pitching, really, really good at pitching to where like people actually want to buy what you have to sell, which is awesome because now more people are buying what you have to sell. And now you've got a whole bunch of people paying you a whole lot of money. And then, by the way, you get a dip for the first time ever. You get a dip. I went through it. David Getzinger went through it. Christine Seal is going through it. You will get a dip because you're in sophomore year, because you're graduating from your sophomore year. And how you know when you're ready to graduate from sophomore year is you once again got time crunched. You've increased your prices. You're pitching your program. It's not about the tools, but you're crunched for time. You're still doing time for money. You probably have a VA that's doing most of your setup. You're like, oh my God, I can't deal with all these like questions and these clients. And like, I don't know if it's working, but it sometimes works. And everybody's like asking me questions and I'm freaking out because I got to respond immediately. And I don't know what to do when you experience a dip. This, by the way, is where most agencies say, screw it, I'm out. I almost did that. I peaked at $42,000 a month and almost said, screw it, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm going to sneeze, by the way. Just kidding. Fake sneeze. That was just right in the eyes. Okay. But most people will go from a pattern where they focus on the tools, find their client, and then they move into a program called the Wallet Out Ready by Butt the Seed Customer Campaign, the ATP program plus, whatever you're calling, Event Boost. It's a program, right? Then they go here, then they hit this dip, and some of them, most of them, it's the first time they've ever like hit a dip with their agency. Then they freak out. By the way, this happens in college a lot. Freshman year is easy. Sophomore year is easy. Hit junior year, you don't have the skills, knowledge, and abilities to study, and you drop out. Happens all the time. Most dropouts happen between your sophomore and junior year. When the difficulty goes up, you can go through a transition. But we understand sophomore year. Cool. Makes complete and total sense. Junior year. Ooh. Sucks. If you get through it, you make a lot of money. If you don't, you get kicked out. It's just how it works. Same way with agency life. Most, I think, agencies fail after the first year or 2 years because they aren't having unconscious of this. So you focus on the tools, you start selling tools, you find your dream clients, then you create a program that gets them consistent results, or you can predict if there's results like I predicted with customer research, and you develop a program and you get good at pitching. Cool. Now you get hit with every single customer complaint, interaction, question, concern ever. Your systems break down horribly. And that's what happens in your junior year. Literally, your systems will break down. You'll be getting hit with 100 PMs a day, just like I did. You'll be getting hit with 1,000 text messages and emails because you've got all these clients on these programs, but you've never had to deal with so many questions in volume. And because you've built your agency on you, by the way, I'm kind of stuck in sophomore year trying to transition to junior, that if you're not doing it, your customers freak out. I bought from Jeff. I bought from Christine. I bought from Wayne and Ben and Lewis and David. And who are you? Your client was not properly transitioned to their project manager or account manager. It's you pitching, it's you servicing, it's you fulfilling, right? Fulfilling. That's your junior year. You get hit with every single customer complaint, interaction, question, concern. And what's interesting, by the way, is because you have not built a program to deal with this proactively and pre-conquer these objections, your clients hate you. They just hate you. I bought from Jeff and he never responded to my PM. It's like, are you serious? Like, I got 150 PMs. Your program is working 99% of the time and you're canceling because I didn't respond to your PM. That's what it is. And when you look at customers like or businesses like Amazon, one of their metrics is the number of questions that they get. The fewer questions, the better. If they ever get too many questions, they build out a way to solve that. Like they got a whole bunch of questions about where's my shipment. So they built a little shipment tracker so you didn't have to message them, right? So guess what? Your junior year is trying to figure out how to deal with all the questions. If you don't deal with all the questions, you will exit the industry and freak the hell out and say, like, I'm done. I want someone to buy me out, or I don't care, or I want to jump on calls, or I only want to talk to the person in charge, all that stuff. This is fundamentally two-pronged problem. The first, you didn't tell them there were dedicated office hours. That's the first thing. You didn't tell them this. If you did, by the way, you probably would hate your clients less. You can literally in your pitch say, by the way, every Wednesday at 2 p.m., we have office hours. You can ask me any questions that you'd like. There's about 10 to 15 people that come on, and you can ask me any questions as long as you decide to keep us on board. Great. So now your clients who want an interaction and have questions about blah, 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 have two options. The first is they'll message you and you can say, is it an emergency? If it is, you deal with it. The second is you can say, can we talk about this during my office hours? Yes. Then you put that back into your pitch right here. And if you're somebody like Christine that is like having a lot of success and freaking out, if you're like David Getzinger who's having a lot of success and freaking out, if you're like me who's having a lot of success freaking out, you go back to your sophomore year and rework the program. So instead of saying you're going to work with me, you're simply going to say, that's so funny. Like so many people are going live in the IC right now. You're going to go and rework your program and say, and the best part about this is the way we administer support, Mr. Johnson. You see, every single week at 2 p.m., we have a tech call and support Q&A. You come on board to the Zoom, ask whatever questions you like. I'll deal with it on the spot. There's usually 10 to 15 people. It's a really good tribe. And if you need desperately emergency support, I've got somebody that's on staff 24/7, 365. They open the chat, ask them questions. We answer right then. If not, I can handle it at the beginning of the day. There you go. That's how you fix your junior year. Go back to your sophomore year. You tell them that you didn't tell them that there were dedicated office hours, and you didn't tell them what's kosher. But now you did. So now, by the way, your junior year has a lot less friction and your sales go up. Now you have a group coaching program, or a group done for you program, or group Q&A calls. Just like I do right now. There's 40,000 people in this group. Imagine if I answered everybody's PM. That'd be insane, which I almost went crazy with this group. But I realized, oh, nope. Ask me on my Lunch and Learn. And you guys should be doing the same exact thing with your clients. Literally every client that is paying you money, you can say, hey, by the way, we've got a Wednesday Q&A call. If you need tech support, an audit, anything like that, feel free to jump on. It's like you can come into our office, but it's on Wednesdays and it's online. Ask me whatever you'd like. Just like that. And whether you're selling to agencies or business owners, this is an easy way to divert the conversation back into your advantage. You can say, hey, Mr. Johnson, thanks for messaging me on Friday at 6 p.m. Just at the end of the day. I want to let you know, A, is this an emergency? And if B, if it's not, can we handle it on the upcoming office hours call? Chances are they will be okay with doing it the upcoming office hours call. Hell, do it twice a week just to make them happy. Now you're good. And so your junior year is really like reworking all your pitches, programs, and internal huff and puffs so that, hold on, you don't go crazy. Just like that. And then you get a big jump in income. It's great because now you can bring on a client and you don't have to PM them or message them or call them. You've got a dedicated conversion academy. You've got every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. We've got Q&A calls. We've got live sessions, and that ends up being a more valuable ad than having, one-on-one support or account manager you can call. You can literally position it and go back to your sophomore year and say like, hey, by the way, the CEO of our company, as part of you paying us money and being a client, get to ask them whatever you want. I'll even look at your account and fix stuff on the fly. Isn't that cool? And now everything makes more sense. The difference, by the way, is a professor that does 8 hours of 16 30-minute one-on-ones or one 16-minute or one class with 16 people in it. That's the difference. The second professor is not crazy. The first professor is just stuck in meetings all day. Not very successful, not very happy, and the clients hate them. So that's really your junior. Again, freshman year is doing the tools. Sophomore year is doing the program. Junior year is reworking the program so they can bring on more people without taking your time. Cool. Senior year. This one's a doozy. This is me trying to figure out my junior year and senior year, and why I also think webinars are going to be beaten by books in 2020. Senior year is when you write everything down and sell just the info. And more importantly, the info is time tested, makes sense, has proof, and sells. I have to rework this verbiage, but you know what I mean. Every single professor goes through this journey. They do it as a grad student themselves, and then they get really, really good at teaching. Then they become a professor, and then they write a book. That's it. So you move in your senior year as a book or a digital product that contains all your learning, knowledge. Sometimes that's called SOPs, but I'm trying not to use that on this Lunch and Learn, and expertise. That's just how this darn thing works. And you end up in a senior year position where stuff really begins to scale in a way that makes a lot of sense, because you can sell more books without, come on. You know, Google Slides, like, am I the crazy one or not? Here we go. So you can sell more books without taking on more clients. And if you do decide to be a client, you can just put them into your junior year program that's reworked so you don't go crazy. Now you've got cash coming in. You're really only dealing with people that have paid you money. You get everybody that's massively successful. Senior year, book. And if somebody wants to pay money, junior year. By the way, when somebody buys your book, it's like you're getting paid to pitch. It's so cool. Reno Pace does it all the time. By the way, I'm moving in my senior year. I don't have like my junior entirely figured out. We're getting there. Like I'm making some structural changes, like winter. January is my winter to like rethink stuff. But now I'm introducing my book, and people can pay me money. And now I'm only really working with people that have paid me money. And now when the pitch happens or demo happens, they're more invested. And now the hand raise is not a yes or a come on in, we'll spend 2 hours together. And it's not me doing it for them. It's me getting good at pitching a program, reworking it so I don't get all this huff and puff, and really only talking to people that have bought my book first. And every single person that you look up to is doing this. Grant Cardone has a book. Chances are you're probably going to buy his book before you buy his other stuff. And maybe it's not a book, maybe it's a digital product, but you know what I mean? Like he's not selling to random strangers anymore. He's only selling to people that paid him money. Isn't that cool? Russell Brunson, same thing. We all paid him money. Expert Secrets, we all did. Now he's only selling to people that paid him money. The book does the selling. Every professor has done the same thing. Every paid author has done the same thing. Ask Method, Story Brand, Brand Script, Jay Abraham. They all went through this journey. They figured out a digital product that contains all the learning, knowledge, and expertise, or common stories, common patterns. Let's put that. Common stories, patterns, client success, all that. And now the book does the selling for them. We could spend the rest of the 15 or 20 minutes talking about how I think books will beat webinars. This is the fundamental reason why. But we don't have to go over that now. I just want to make sure everybody here is taken care of. I hope this has made a lot of sense. Like, depending upon where you are in your journey or where you got started, this is what you probably did to yourself in the beginning. You got really engrossed in like a Gary Vee or Grant Cardone or Russell Brunson, and you said, oh my God, this is the path that they took. It makes total sense. And even Russell Brunson has like a timeline layout of what he did, and it looks literally like a line chart. He doesn't talk about the ups and downs and all that stuff, right? And there's natural ups and downs. Every transition hurts. Every transition is meaningful. And instead of looking at your soon-to-be journey as a linear step, you really should be dividing into 4 sections and understanding that there will be always ups and downs. And your sophomore year is structurally different than your junior, sophomore, and junior year. Your senior year is structurally different than your junior, sophomore, and freshman year. It's totally different. And what you don't want to do to yourself is compare you to Grant Cardone or Gary Vee or Russell Brunson. Don't even compare yourself to me or Andrew Cruzy or anybody on the Funnel Hacking Live stage. It's unfair. Do not do it. You should be comparing you to where Gary Vee was in his freshman year. You should be comparing you to where Gary Vee was in his senior year, or sorry, his sophomore year, or junior or senior, depending upon which chunk you're in. Don't hurt yourself by comparing yourself to freshman to senior. Don't do it. Don't compare yourself to where I am now. It's bad for your brain. Instead, really view yourself as part of this journey. Depending upon where you are, stuff will make sense. Oh, let me grab this real fast. Here we go. Depending upon where you are, stuff may make sense, stuff may not make sense, but you can't understand junior until you're in it. Not going to happen, right? But you really should be putting you in one of these charts. Are you doing intense done for you services to find your dream client, to figure out a pattern, to figure out a system, figure out what works and what doesn't? Great. So put yourself in that box and see where Gary Vee was. Where was Gary Vee in his freshman year? He was literally doing a shitty wine TV show with the worst resolution ever and the worst script ever and the worst lighting ever. Are you ahead of where Gary Vee was in his freshman year? Probably. Same way with Grant Cardone and same way with Russell Brunson. All that stuff. Did you know Russell Brunson was making $30,000 a month and still losing money? Isn't that crazy? Right? I don't understand. How do you do that? He was just spending too much money on ads and didn't have a business that worked. Freshman year. Do me a favor, guys, by the way, if you feel like if in your freshman year, just type freshman year right here. If you're doing done for you, trying to figure out a system, a pattern, figure out what works, just type freshman year. And by the way, like there's no shame in being in one of these buckets. That's just your journey. Like nobody says like, God, you're in your first year at college. It's like, that makes no sense. Why you give me flack for it? So if you feel like you're in your freshman year, just type freshman year. If you feel like in your sophomore year, type sophomore year. Junior year, type junior year. If you feel like in your senior year, type senior year. Just so we have a gauge of the room and have an idea of where you are and where you want to be. And what's really cool is by literally declaring yourself freshman, you remove the social structure of I should be up here and I'm afraid to fail and look foolish because that'll mean I'm down here. Just adopt being a freshman. It's so exciting. Everything is new and you're learning and it's like so cool. Remember the first time like you tried out a video game, you're like, oh my God, there's all these colors. Freshman year. Cool. When you go into active campaign and you're excited about the opportunities, freshman year. If you're like pitching a client, you're still kind of nervous because you're not really sure, freshman year. It's exciting and it's motivating, freshman year. By the way, when I was a freshman year, I was probably exactly where you were starting. Right here, freshman year. You're doing done for you, trying to find your client. Cool. By the way, I'm in the freshman year of me trying to date and it sucks. Like it would be insane for me to compare myself with like all my married friends are like senior suave and know how to dance salsa and all that. Like it makes no sense. I should be comparing my dating life to where they were as a freshman. Same way with agency stuff. Same way with weightlifting. Same way with losing weight. Same way with medical school. Freshman. Cool. So when you graduate freshman year, you will be going into sophomore year. You'll have a program. You'll have steps. You'll find something that works reliably and predictably and consistently somewhat. And it's a program. It's a series of steps. If you're the Wallet Out campaign, you can see my senior year right there. Just like that. Most people are here, freshman and sophomore year. Sean Manaher is in his sophomore year. Christine Seal is in her sophomore year. Jessica Cortez feels like she's sophomore, a little bit junior. And most people are in the freshman year because they're trying to find a pattern. Joshua Brummels, by the way, has been landing flower shops at $1,250 a month to $1,500 a month. That's cool, but he's still trying to figure out his client. There's no reason for him to try and jump ship and jump into a sophomore year. No reason. So if you feel like in your sophomore year, type sophomore. If you feel like you are in your junior year, where you have to rework all your pitches, your internal huff and puff, rework your systems, the way you interact, hire a team, all that so that you don't go crazy, just type junior year. If you ever feel like you have too many clients and too many PMs and you're not really sure how to deal with all that stuff, just type junior year. By the way, this is where I started doing my agency scaling secrets, AskFam, my butt group, all that stuff. I think the fundamental reason why this group is a better discussion than most groups out there is because I didn't try to group during my freshman year. Instead, I only grouped after I found the pattern, got good at pitching, and then started to document my journey. And that's why this group kind of feels a little bit more honest and authentic than the other groups and things like that. I hope that makes a lot of sense to provide some background. But for the most part, if you feel like you are in your junior year where you're trying to figure out you got too many questions from clients, you need to rework your internal systems, figure out a VA, offload your stuff, you're in your junior year. And if you're bringing a book out, if you figured out how to document your stuff and have people pay for your stuff, you're in your senior year. And I do want to make an argument that junior year kind of blends together with senior year, but you understand the categorizing how this conversation should go. What I don't want you to do, and I guess this is the takeaway for today's Lunch and Learn, is you have no reason to give yourself a boatload of crap for not being in your sophomore year or junior year or senior year. If you're a freshman, just be a freshman. If you're a sophomore, be a sophomore, junior, be a junior. Find your bucket and understand your relationship with your agency and your clients and your services and what you have to fix. There's no reason for you to give yourself a boatload of crap because you're not where someone else is. More so, don't compare yourself to Gary Vee or Grant Cardone or Russell Brunson or to me. Makes no sense at all. I'm now approaching my junior or senior year. Don't do that to yourself. Just find people in your freshman year and compare yourself to where you are with them, where you are where I was, and keep trying to figure out a system and figure out a client that works. It's totally fine. And then when you're ready, go to sophomore year, junior, and senior year. I hope that makes sense for everybody. And I hope that provided an interesting level of clarity and understanding and authenticity to you and your journey and how you best serve clients and stuff like that. Sean, who I respect, just said, this is absolute gold. It takes the pressure off and allows me to see the logical progression of agency growth. I appreciate that a lot. And I think the mistake very often is that we'll look at people that accelerate through all this and say like, oh God, I'm such a failure. You're really not. Like there's no reason to compare where you are at 20, 30K a month or somebody who's a senior at 300K a month who had graduated law school, went to Harvard, was a computer science NASA degree, and effectively came in with so many credentials, he just rocket shipped to senior year. You don't have to do that to yourself. Just understand the logical progression, stuff that makes sense, and put yourself in a position where, like, I have an understanding of where I am. By the way, there are people in the IC that are in freshman year. There are people in the IC that are sophomore year, junior, or senior year. It's great. And the reason why I feel like I can share this conversation is because I talk to people in my IC all the time. And so I'm seeing the pattern. I'm seeing where people bucket themselves. There are people doing $100,000, $300,000 a month. Cool. There are people doing 10 to 20, people doing 5. But because I'm involved in the IC itself and I enjoy the tribe that we built, I can put them into buckets and understand their problems. We have somebody named Jeff Lopez that went from freshman to junior year in about 90 days. That's insane, right? We have people that are in freshman year and they're still trying to figure out their client, but they figured out how to charge $5K a month. That's cool. I'm happy for them, right? So that's the lesson for today's Lunch, Learn, and Live. Don't compare yourself to where Gary Vee was or Jeff was or Russell Brunson or whoever you look up to where they are. Compare you to where they were. If you want context, go to my personal page and scroll back 3 years. You can see my freshman year right there. So you know where you are and how you're supposed to do it. I do want to go into books will beat webinars, but I don't think we have enough time. We only have like 15 minutes left and I got a 1 o'clock. We can talk about this tomorrow. Next Lunch and Learn. Because I really think that spending $500 or $1,000 to get a client is not sustainable, and Facebook is moving away from webinars, probably into VSLs. And if you're doing a VSL, you should probably do a book. And now you're only selling to people that like have already bought something from you. And if you get somebody paying you a little bit of money, they're more than happy to pay you more if you don't screw them over. And so I'll be talking about this tomorrow. You'll actually be seeing my book launch soon, which will be cool. And it's about 300 pages or so. It has all the interviews we've ever done. That's not true. Most of the interviews we've ever done. And about 30 pages of how I think you should be pitching, selling, sourcing clients, fulfilling orders, all that stuff, which is pretty darn cool. And there's enough bonuses to where you say, of course, I'm going to buy the book. And I think we're going to be selling the book at like $5.60. So I can provide some like bottom level pressure to $10,000 programs out there and see what happens. Yeah. So if you have any questions, now is the time. Feel free to ask away. I admire a lot of people in the group that are watching it right now, and I'm more than happy to provide guidance for some of the people that need it right now. Q&A. Oops. So let's move into Q&A. I get a lot of PMs throughout the day, and there's really no way that I can substantially answer them in a way that makes sense. So I really devote, I guess you could say, my Wednesdays lunch and learn to office hours or Q&A. Hint, you see what I'm doing here, right? See what I'm doing, right? So if there's any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, or ideas, now is the time. Let me just go ahead and scroll through the chat, see if there's any that makes sense, and we'll take it from there. Christine says, I'm definitely in junior year. I agree with you. Yeah. Christine says they don't want to hop on calls with anyone except for me. Christine, the cool part is if you do a VSL, you can restructure it to where you can say, and you have 24-hour support with one of our Jeans, Gean. That's my VA. She's in the group. And every Wednesday at 2 p.m., we got a lunch, learn, and live and stuff like that. So you can ask me questions. John Carmichael says that makes complete sense. Let's see. Oh, here's a good question from Oliver. So Oliver says, I'm sorry, by the way, guys, like I've got a funnel hacking flu coronavirus Tony Robbins thing going on, and I've had it for like 3 days, and it's just like right here. So like my brain isn't working as good as it should be, and I've got the sniffles. Oliver, by the way, still says, I still feel freshman. I'm so thankful for what I've already reached so far. Oliver, by the way, is consistently breaking $9,000 to $10,000 a month. He's found what works for his client. He's pitching a program, and now he has to rework it so that he can bring on more clients without losing time, sometimes called scaling. But my small business clients don't like the word scaling. It's too internet marketing. So I just say take on more clients without losing time. But yeah, dude, Oliver's had like definite progress and stuff like that. Mike Lawson says, I found my wife by learning to dance salsa. Glenn says, my wedding dance was salsa. Adam Chambers says, don't worry, Jeff, I will teach you to salsa. I appreciate that, guys. Jessica Cortez says, I feel a mix. Oops. Says, I feel a mix of junior and senior, which is awesome. That's exactly where you're supposed to be. There's no reason to give yourself flack for still having like done few clients. That's okay. There are juniors that are still taking freshman classes. It's really no big deal. And there are some juniors and seniors that are experimenting with grad level courses. That's okay. But putting yourself where you are and where you need to be is very relieving and makes a lot of sense and provides a lot less flack for yourself. I know people that I talk to, my mentor is doing $180,000 a month. $180,000 a month. I have common conversations. People are doing $300,000 a month. It's insane, right? But there's no reason for me to give myself flack for learning for somebody in grad school, right? So it's kind of pretty darn cool. Sean Manahart says, this is absolute gold, takes the pressure off and allows me to see the logical growth of the agency. I appreciate that a lot. Jessica says, yeah, I need to charge more. Usually, by the way, when you feel like you have to charge more, it's because you're not letting yourself move to sophomore year and have a program that helps remove the time value of money thing. Or you're in junior year and you're getting so many PMs, you just want to charge money when you really should just say, hey, is this an office hours conversation? And that will help you quickly alleviate this feeling of hating your clients, which is the core reason why you feel like you have to charge more. We have Daniel right here. Daniel says, have you used Facebook ads to effectively generate real estate leads? I have not. I've never had any results personally with Facebook ads for real estate agents. I know that everybody brags about the number of leads, but that doesn't really matter. You need, I think there's like a term like assigned homes or contracts or closings or something like that. Like that's what they really want. And for the most part, Facebook ads for real estate agents don't work the same way Facebook ads for other people work. So, here's like your Facebook ads for real estate system. And I think I talked about this on like a lunch and learn. Like you've got the lead gen part, and this is like the equivalent to like Zillow or Trulia or Facebook ads, right? If all you're doing is Facebook ads, you're only in this bucket, and Zillow and Trulia will always beat you. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work, and you probably won't be able to serve as a client because you need the other three boxes. So lead gen is the first part, and then there's the ISA. I think it's just like a callback service, and you can use something like Agentology or something like that. And then you've got the auto follow-up for, let's just say, 90 days. I think there's something like that. Like that's the average program, or the average time to go from zero to home sold is 90 days. Some people have an automatic follow-up for 180 days. So you really need something like this to pump out the end result of assigned contracts. Is that the term? It's assigned something. Like you need a program, not just a tool, right? So that's the transition, right? Sean, Kev Charlie, Aaron Harris, Shane Hillier, Joan, I can't pronounce the last name because of the B, Rav Yabuvala, they all do some type of Facebook lead gen for real estate agents, but they have a system, not just Facebook ads. If you're just doing Facebook ads, it's not going to work. And then your client's going to hate you and they don't know why. And you don't know why because you thought it worked and somebody lied to you. Like you need a program like this. Jessica Cortez says, I recently hired a manager in the transition. I was a little sloppy, but now all my churns clients know she's there to assist. Exactly, right? Like it would be absolutely insane for me to honestly expect to message Russell Brunson for tech support, right? That's stupid. But you'll notice that he doesn't say message me for tech support or I'll take care of you or something like that. He doesn't use that language. I do. I'm transitioning out of that. He says, and if you got any questions, just message support@clickfunnels.com. Same thing. Hey, this is Jessica. If you've got any questions, message support@cortez.com, whatever it is, right? So there you go. Tom says, how did Facebook ads work for finding new clients? Horrible. I hate my carpet cleaners. I'm getting out of the niche. They're the worst people in the world. I should not have publicly announced I was going on a mission. It was trash. Oh my God. Like I got hit so hard. Like I just horrible. I had this like huge level of hubris and self-confidence and chest puffiness because I was going to better serve an industry and take on Thumbtack and Yelp and Home Advisor and all that stuff. And you know what happened is I got beat to shit so fast. Like the carpet cleaners industry at the core is like the worst. Just, oh God, so horrible. And what's funny is there's a book called Competitive Strategy with Michael Porter. I'll show you right here. I couldn't quite figure out why like carpet cleaners just make no money all the time until I read this book right here. This is part of like education for like my MBA program. So like it was an easy read. I just had to reread it. But effectively what happens is there's 5 forces as to why a business and industry makes money. It's really, really cool. Like once you understand this, like you'll never have a question on why a business makes money or not. Like it's this right here. I think there's like, another one that they added on. There's like 5 forces or something like that. Somebody keeps messing around with it, but effectively it's 5 forces. Come on. Let's find a good one. It's something like this. I don't know. Either way, though, like one of the biggest reasons that carpet cleaners make no money is because as soon as they do make money, they tell another carpet cleaner, and you can go from 0 to carpet cleaner in like 30 minutes just by renting a carpet cleaning machine. So I'm now undercutting the competitiveness of the industry and the ability of the industry to like charge more. Not going to happen, right? And I did not thoroughly understand that the way I should have, and I'm taking a big L for that. And I'm just doing it publicly so that everybody knows I'm trying to be honest. And so the difference between agencies that work and agencies don't, or the ones that make money, has less to do with their product, but rich man, poor man market. We talked about that last Lunch and Learn. And the competitive nature of the industry. So like, let's say that there's a plastic surgeon making a lot of money. To go from 0 to plastic surgeon and compete with him, you have to wait 5 years, maybe 10, right? That's a long time, right? If you're a bike shop and you want to go from 0 to bike shop, you got to wait like 18 months to build everything out and get suppliers and build a reputation. If you're a carpet cleaner, 30 minutes, right? What's even cooler, by the way, is some suppliers purposefully introduce tools and techniques to make it easy for their downstream suppliers to compete so that they are the biggest person on the block and they dictate prices and can play people off each other. That's some like dark side stuff. But Tom, to answer your question, absolutely horrible. I'm changing niches and I hate every single one of them. And I'm taking this as a big L. Tyler says, I feel like in my junior year and it's about learning to enjoy the feedback and not fear it. Can't wait till senior year. Thanks, Jeff. Cool video. Tyler, I'm super happy for you. There you go. Tom says, so you're going to target different niche with Facebook ads then? Correct. I'm going to be spinning up a prospecting engine to either dental implants, med spas, or something else. And instead of having to go through the SOP process to figure it out, I'm just going to white label, take a smaller margin, and then build out SOPs as I do it. The easiest way to spin up an agency fast is to sell stuff off the shelf. So that's why you can see me going in the public group saying, hey, who white labels this? Find the best white labeler, ask them how much it costs, what their processes look like. And then you've got an agency really darn fast, more like retail agency than something else, but you get the idea. Ferrari says, In regards to my comments about carpet cleaning, it's the same with photographers. Exactly. So if you're a photographer, you're charging $500 a session and word gets out, all of a sudden it's like, hey guys, why are you paying $500 for that guy? I've got an iPhone. I can be, oh, let me turn that around. That's Tinder going off. I can be your photographer for $400. And then word gets out and somebody else says, oh, I can be your photographer for $300. And then somebody says, I just bought a really awesome camera. And I've got these lights. How about $250? It's very easy for a photographer to come on and be competing with other photographers who are entrenched, who do not have a monopoly, and are not a structurally profitable business. Again, this is competitive strategy, which is super cool. If you want, like, this is probably the most calming and realization. Oh my God, it makes complete total sense. There is like if you're trying to figure out why steel companies never make money, and why semiconductors will always make money, and Apple will forever be a billion-dollar company, and Amazon purposefully built out certain ways of working affecting this. Nope, that's the wrong way. Affecting this. Like you know why structurally Amazon will never be small ever again, right? Ben Roman says, Tinder is good, but are you on Bumble? Yeah, dude, I am. And I've had more results on Tinder. I don't know why, but I've got a Tinder date tonight. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if I should dress to impress or just like dress to rebel or repel or something like that. Like Miami girls are fucking weird. Like if you say that you like them, they just walk away. I don't get it. But if you say they're trash, they like you. I hate it. It's poisonous. Nashville was awesome though. That was pretty cool. But ladies and gents, we're bringing the sucker to a close. I really hope that this dating journey, this Facebook ads agency journey, you can see what's on my mind, really provides some context and clarity and comfort and authenticity to you in your journey. If you are a freshman year, if you're in your freshman year, this is what you are figuring out. If you're in sophomore year, this is what you're figuring out junior and senior year. And there's no reason for you to give yourself flack for being a freshman. None. That's it. You're just taking freshman classes. Who cares, right? And then you're going to go on a natural transition. And instead of focusing on the tool and getting paid per dollar, well, guess what? They're going to have a program, and you're going to move away from time and money exchange. And you're going to have a program where you get paid higher dollars for, and hopefully charge like $2,000 or $3,000, but only have a fulfillment cost of like $400, $500. And then your junior year, you're going to have to rework your systems, probably a winter. And then senior year, well, guess what? Now you're only pitching to people that have paid you money, which is really darn cool. This is the last question so far. We have Sean Manahert. I always pronounce it with a T, but it shouldn't. Sean Manahert. Sean Manahert says, I'm transitioning from sophomore year to junior right now. I'm priced at $1,000 a month for Kairos, where my competition is $500 to $1,500. Super saturated. Do you ever see an advantage to pivot from a main niche to a new one during this time? Not really. Like you don't want to have a conversation about transitioning during your junior year. It's not good for you. It's going to mess everything up. Like you're reworking your programs and your pitches and your huff and puff so you don't go crazy. And then you're going to say, let me introduce a new variable. That'd be awesome, right? And winning in your junior year is more about getting your costs down and getting your time down. And freshman year is more about figuring out your dream client. Those are entirely different journeys that require entirely different brain parts that are entirely conflicting. Imagine if you're spending all this time trying to lower your time and your costs and figure out how to rework your programs and work with people where you got to work with them one-on-one and do it for them and then figure out your dream client. Like that's an internal conflict, and they both pull away from each other and everything is going to suck and you're going to feel frozen and you're going to say, I don't know what to do and everything is bad and I'm making no money. I really do not suggest that people find a new pitch, new niche when they're reworking their programs. What you want to do is see your junior year through, get your costs down, be predictable, reliable, have an army of VAs, all that stuff. And then once things have calmed down, your senior year, instead of being about a book, you could just introduce a new product or service for a new niche. And you look at Joel Kaplan, that's what he's doing. He's like, guys, we're doing $300K a month, maybe $500K a month. Everything is cool. I'm only working 4 hours a day. Let's do something different. So he's in his senior year. Ravi, same thing. I'm encompassing my senior year. And so what you don't want to do is what your brain is telling you now. You want to do what your brain is telling you after everything is like flattened out. Everything is predictable, reliable. It's very Sam Ovens, like put $1 and get $2 out, and the SOPs kick in, and you've got like 10 layers of of this broke, what am I supposed to do type conversation. Once your junior year is down here to where like you are literally just spending very little time trying to figure it out, then instead of a book, you can introduce a new offer or new niche, spin up a new prospecting engine, pay James Cluster more money, stuff like that. So I hope that answers your question, provides context. Whether your competition charges more or not, it kind of almost doesn't matter. It's whether or not like your clients are getting results, and if you can pay more for the client. But I really would not suggest introducing this variable at all until like your junior year is done. When your junior year is done, then you go to senior year and introduce a new program. But I've got an elite call. I got a boogie off. Jessica Cortez gets the last comment and saying she did ass backwards. There you go. You didn't say ass, but it's a butt group, so I might as well say it. So everyone go kick some butt, take some names. I'm going to chop this up and see who can't run it as like a little introductory video and all that fun stuff. So that's it. See you guys later. Bye.